Sometimes you are not silent because you have nothing to say. You are silent because you are tired of explaining. Tired of explaining why you feel hurt. Tired of explaining why something changed your mood. Tired of explaining why one sentence stayed in your mind for hours. Tired of explaining why your heart feels heavy. You tried before. You opened your mouth. You searched for the right words. You tried to make people understand, but somehow, the more you explained, the more alone you felt. Because some pain becomes heavier when you have to prove it exists. Some feelings become exhausting when people keep questioning them. And some hearts become quiet after being misunderstood too many times. This is what it feels like to be too tired to explain. The first reason is that they tried to explain before. They did not become silent in one day. They used to talk. They used to share their feelings. They used to explain what hurt them. They used to tell people what they needed. They used to believe someone would understand if they explained clearly enough. So they tried. They explained calmly. They explained emotionally. They explained with patience. They explained with tears. They explained again and again. But after a while, explaining started to feel like begging to be understood. And that kind of effort can quietly break a person. The second reason is that people did not understand. Some people heard the words but missed the feeling behind them. They listened to the sentence but not the pain inside it. They heard the story but not the wound. They saw the reaction but not the reason. And when someone does not understand your pain, you begin to feel invisible. You start wondering if your feelings are too complicated. You start wondering if you are too sensitive. You start wondering if maybe your pain does not matter. But the truth is, not everyone has the depth to understand what you carry. Some people only understand pain when it is loud. Some people only believe sadness when it is visible. Some people only notice damage after something breaks completely. And when you keep being misunderstood, silence begins to feel easier. Not because the pain is gone, but because explaining no longer feels useful. The third reason is that simple advice made them feel worse. Sometimes, when they finally opened up, people gave quick answers. Just be positive. Do not think too much. Forget about it. Move on. Be strong. But deep pain does not disappear because someone gives a simple sentence. Sometimes, simple advice feels like dismissal. It makes the person feel like their pain is not being taken seriously. It makes them feel like they are being rushed to feel better. It makes them feel like their emotions are inconvenient, so instead of feeling comforted, they feel more alone. They stop sharing because they do not want another quick answer. They want understanding, not instructions. The fourth reason is that they are tired of being judged. Some people are afraid that explaining their pain will make others see them differently. They are afraid of being called weak. They are afraid of being called dramatic. They are afraid of being called negative. They are afraid of being told they are overreacting. So they begin to hide the truth. They smile when they want to cry. They say nothing when they want to explain. They pretend they are okay because being honest feels unsafe. Judgment teaches people to edit themselves. They remove the painful parts. They remove the vulnerable parts. They remove the honest parts. They become quiet, not because they are okay, but because they are protecting themselves. The fifth reason is that they feel safer staying silent. Silence can become a shelter. It can feel safer than another painful conversation. Safer than being misunderstood again. Safer than being judged again. Safer than being told to move on again. For some people, silence becomes the only place where nobody can twist their words. Nobody can interrupt their feelings. Nobody can minimize their pain. Nobody can tell them how they should feel. So they stop explaining. They keep their thoughts inside. They protect their heart with quietness. They choose peace over another exhausting conversation. But even when silence protects them, it can also make them lonely. The sixth reason is that explaining pain again feels heavy. Explaining pain is not just talking. It means opening the wound again. It means remembering what happened. It means finding words for feelings that may not even have words. It means turning inner heaviness into sentences. And that can be exhausting. Sometimes, before they even start explaining, they already feel tired. They think about how long the story is. They think about how much context someone needs. They think about how easily people misunderstand. They think about how many times they have said it before. And suddenly, silence feels easier than starting again. Not because they do not care, but because they do not have the emotional energy to carry the explanation one more time. The seventh reason is that they stopped expecting people to understand. There comes a point when a person stops hoping for the same thing. They stop expecting people to read between the lines. They stop expecting people to notice the tiredness in their eyes. They stop expecting people to understand the silence behind their smile. They stop expecting people to ask the right question. This does not always mean they are cold. It often means they have been disappointed too many times. They have explained before and felt unheard. They have opened up before and felt dismissed. They have trusted before and felt alone afterward. So they begin to depend more on themselves. They stop chasing emotional validation. They stop explaining to people who do not want to understand. And slowly, they learn to carry things quietly. The eighth reason is that silence became their protection. Silence can become armor. It protects the heart from careless words. It protects the mind from unnecessary arguments. It protects the soul from people who only listen to reply. When someone has been hurt by misunderstanding, silence can feel powerful. It gives them control. It gives them distance. It gives them space to breathe. It helps them avoid people who drain them. But protection can also become a wall. And walls do not only keep pain out. Sometimes they keep comfort out too. They keep connection out too. This is why healing requires safe people, not just silence. The ninth reason is that they still want someone to notice. Even when they stop explaining, they often still want to be seen. They want someone to notice the change in their energy. They want someone to notice when their smile feels forced. They want someone to notice when they reply less. They want someone to notice when they are quiet for too long. They may not ask for help directly, but deep inside, they wish someone would understand without making them beg for it. They wish someone would say, "I can tell you are tired." They wish someone would say, "You do not have to explain everything right now." They wish someone would sit beside them without pressure. They wish someone would care enough to look deeper. Sometimes the quiet person is not asking for a solution. They are asking for presence. They are asking for someone safe enough to stay. The 10th reason is that healing starts with the right listener. Not everyone deserves the full story. Not everyone can hold your truth gently. Not everyone knows how to listen without turning your pain into advice. But one safe listener can change everything. A safe listener does not rush you. They do not judge your emotions. They do not compete with your pain. They do not make your story about themselves. They listen with patience. They listen with kindness. They listen with respect. And for someone who is tired of explaining, that kind of listening feels like rest. It reminds them that being understood is possible. Healing begins when your truth finally has a safe place to land. The final lesson is this: you do not have to explain your pain to everyone. You do not have to prove your sadness to people who refuse to understand. You do not have to repeat your story to people who keep dismissing it. You do not have to open your heart in unsafe places. Your feelings are real, even when nobody understands them. Your pain matters, even when nobody sees it clearly. Your silence has a reason. Your tiredness has a history. And your heart deserves gentleness. Speak where you feel safe. Rest when you feel drained. Protect your peace when people do not listen. But do not believe that nobody will ever understand you. The right people will not make you beg to be heard.